22,180.
Okay, but there's two of them.
Account number is 13423. Page new shop. Page 30 shop. No, yeah.
Do we know who's playing with us today?
I would want to, we'll find out.
I go.
I would say right, maybe.
It's still a good chance for there we go. Let's try that. June 7th. It's the one on
Yeah.
top here.
Get started, they'll be here. in a little bit.
13423.
180. On the top of page 2.
Oh, the top of page 2. Yeah, no, page 2. That's the first one. We're not awake yet. No worries. I don't change.
I remember my glasses sitting.
Oh, there you go. You doing good?
I'm doing better, yeah. I can see a little bit better.
Okay. You go to district person, we're ready to go.
Yeah, Brent said go ahead and get started. I'll be right here.
Go. We live, Jackie?
Here we are.
Go. Morning.
Yes, we'll go over.
Yeah, we'll go through that. We got a whole bunch of administrative stuff to go through first. It is Tuesday, June 7th. At 8:26, we're convening a session of the Aransas County Appraisal Review Board. You have a quorum? Okay, great. So we're open for hearings. Oh, yeah. So we're going to commence the hearing on case ID 2022-180, account number 13423, 1601 Bay House in Rockport. This hearing is being. Yeah.
Interrupted.
You're having air conditioning already?
Yeah, sometimes. Where were we? This hearing is being recorded. And verify real quick what we have on the protest. Market value. And meeting level of appraisal, which is we are the appraisal review board that will be hearing the case today, the protest. We do not work for the appraisal system. We are
Right here.
independent review of the protest.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, if you were to come back, we don't the door. Yeah, it's getting. So we do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform the independent review of the protest. In the hearing, you can complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed in the survey form, which they have under here. You can fill it out and leave it here. You can email it. You can mail it back in. You can mail it. It's going to send it to CAD.communication at cpa.texas.gov. Or if you'd like to take an online survey, you can go to surveymotion.com/r/survey-ARB. The survey is voluntary, and I don't expect you to remember all that information. So at the top of the form, as well as in the determination package that goes back to the hearing. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information is also provided in the determination package that we received. In accordance with tax code section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Okay, have you provided any other evidence that other views that are hearing?
It should have been screened.
Yeah, Val is bringing it over to
There we
the
go.
Amazon right now.
Okay, so we have that, and as well as it'll be displayed on the screen. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I've got Wagner to solemnly swear that I have not communicated with any person in violation of tax code section 41.6.
I, Glenn Ferguson, solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66 F.
I, Ronald McKennedy, solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I take further solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66 F.
I have the confidence and solemnly swear that I have not communicated with a person in violation of tax code 41.66.
Okay. All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. So we'll be asking you to swear in at this time, and Beth will help us step through that.
Read that statement aloud. Once I do, and then I'll take your name.
I do solemnly swear I will affirm the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
And your name, please.
Howard Shooting.
Okay. Drink here. And then if you do the same, read the statement aloud.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board. Aransas County is true.
Okay, I need to ask you both, if either of you hold a license with the or certificate from the Texas Appraisers Licensing and Certification Board. That's fine, we just have to have in front of you is the hearing procedure time. This is how we're going to be running the hearing today. And there are two ways that can run. One is if you go first in presenting your protests, or if you or the district goes first, and you get to choose which one. That sounds fine. Yeah, they're going first.
Okay, you have 5 minutes from now.
There's split in the bottom of this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you have to scroll out.
Scroll up a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know. It's just a landscape, I guess. That's okay. Just staying on timeline, you have 5 minutes right now. Then you'll get one.
First point is that 1601 is, and it's adjacent 1506 are remarkably different than other two-story end units in the house. As you can see from these two pictures, these two end units, 1801, 1901, have side extensions. The concrete patio and associated deck extensions are 8 feet, and this is very common throughout all the rest of the complex, except for these two units, which there are 3, please. Now, this is the literal this is alleyway between 1500 and 1600. It is only 10 feet wide. It's not actually quite that wide. There are no extensions, side extensions, and therefore the concrete patios and the deck extensions are 5 feet or less, so they're quite different from other end units. Okay, having said that, we're very fortunate in that 1601 have suffered no visual damage from ARB. And that's important for the next point. To compare ours with other units sold that were damaged, it may not be totally appropriate. Case in point is, I'm sorry, one other thing, the distances between other end units, two-story end units in Bay houses ranges from 18 to 35 feet. Vast difference between those two. Okay, we suffered no visible damage from Harvey. We're very thankful for that. But many of the units that listed in column sold in 21 were units that suffered severe damage. In fact, what I want to bring up here is 2516 sold at 340, was sold for 341,000. But that 2,500 was severely damaged, wind and water, and was taken completely down to the studs, completely refurbished, completely upgraded, not just in refurbishing, but in some instances, in some units, so also they were
Because they had to build for the present codes, not codes in 1980.
so that comparison's a bit off. Just to show you the difference in our unit, which is we have not refurbished anything, we just haven't done it because of the ongoing major capital projects and fees, and of course we haven't done anything. We had access to 1901, we just showed the shower, and it was damaged and completely, very heavily refurbished. And this is our, 1980 plastic showers, and just fiberglass showers, just two small instances about the differences between some of these units and ours. Now, lastly, but certainly not important, is the fact that in the last fall, 1600 was leveled and stabilized to mediate subsidence measurements that have been taken in the building. Well, post leveling, doors that had previously not appropriately closed. Well, 9 months later, the doors are not closing. This is yours.
Yes.
This is ours. Now, why? Because of the ongoing erosion from water runoff. We get these heavy rains and there's soil down here, and it's going underneath that building, and there's something going to have to be done.
That's the erosion.
That's the erosion. In front of our building, there's the water inlet. You go back one place. And that's the corner, and that's probably the worst of it. Just today I was walking across our tile floor, and I noticed something, the sound in our tap pit, and some of those, I'm afraid some of the tiles in the building are starting to, because of, I'm guessing, I can't swear to that, but I'm guessing because of some of this stuff, those tiles maybe. Anyway, that's our presentation.
Okay, not from which ones. He made one of his problems and things that.
Well, we figured upgrading we haven't upgraded our bathrooms because we had to pay for replacing decks and piers and leveling and all of that. So hopefully this year we'll replace both of the tubs in the 2 bathrooms, and we're figuring that with today's prices, 15 to 20,000 for that. So,
And those are, I haven't talked to you about it, but those are just raw, yes. They're probably. That's really reassuring thing. Was someone, I thought I read somewhere that if I go first, then I'm supposed to give you an estimate of what I thought, I'd give you a number. Is that correct?
We'll get to that.
Okay, that's fine.
In the 1600 building, how many other units were essentially undamaged from Harvey?
There was some roof leaks in 2 units, I think, which, we had some mold and this and that, but I think there was only like 2 instances. We're very, very fortunate.
So the first unit, if you were to drive all the way in, it's the first unit, the 1500 building,
Yes,
and then 16.
yes,
So you go in, you go left, you go all the way around, you dead end, then you hit the 1500 building.
yes,
So you're 16.
yeah,
Canal, no view of light.
yes.
right? Now it'll be a blank, basically. So we saw the pictures of the bathroom, tub enclosure and handles. Some questions that I have for you is in your kitchen, what are your countertops made of?
I don't. think it's what it is.
It's
It's a slab or something.
it's a step more, it's, I don't, it's marble, I don't know.
Marble, granite, maybe quartz, but
Probably, you couldn't, I don't think it's that, probably, it's,
probably granite.
or some synthetic granite.
Like Corian or something like that, yeah.
It could be.
And the floors are what in the apartment, in the condo? What are the floors?
First floor or tile.
Okay.
Carpet.
It's
Okay. Does the building have gutters?
Yes,
The building has gutters.
we have.
on the back side. See, this is
Part of
different.
the
This is something I'm.
It has a metal roof,
Yes,
but no gutters on the front.
yeah, there is a gutter in the front. But
To
it's
block
not
the doorway only.
above the doorway, yes, and then it goes down. And it just dumps into the bed, and I've been trying to, I'm a board member, by the way, so I've been trying to get this idea of gutters, it's just something we're going to have to do, period, I don't care.
With the metal roof, especially.
Yeah.
Water runoff.
Yeah.
Picking up.
Is it metal or tile?
No, it is metal.
It is metal.
Yes, thank God. we got
It's
rid of-
metal now.
Thank God we got rid of that shrapnel producing
Okay,
tile.
so let's, we'll jump over to the evidence. I will tell you just from looking at your pictures, I have no way of determining value one way or the other on the, how wide, 8 feet, 5 feet wide, depth, extension, all that is. That's more of not a market issue. That's more of an issue of people once you live there. And that's the kind of stuff that people who live in a spot understand better than anybody else and can point it out. Like I would have never pointed it out ever. And neither would anybody else who ever lived there. They wouldn't even have noticed. But you live there. So you know that, and you know if somebody's dealing drugs, you know if somebody doesn't take their trash out, you know all that stuff. I don't know what that means to value. I understand your point about when we start looking at sales, are we looking at sales of places that were gutted and have been rebuilt? That's a very good question. I don't have a problem with that question at all, but we still got to look at them. So the first one's going to be in the 2500 building. The first two are in the 2500 building. They're about the same size, one's smaller. You'll see, let's play this game. Effective age is 2001. Comp number one, effective age is 2001. Comp number two, effective age is 2001. Hold on, let me finish. And then if you have a question, write it down. It doesn't work if you didn't write it. 2500 building, 2500 building. 340,000, 304,000, and they all kind of come out. They're balancing act of if there's something better, it takes away value. If something's worse, it adds value. It's trying to make the subject like the comp like the subject. Say, what would this sell for at this number? Just math. That's all this is. The next one is also in the 2500 building. So we have 3 sales, all from one building. Effective age is 2001. Let's keep an eye on that. Sells for 303. All right, so we're gonna go to equity, keeping our eye on square footage and effective age. So now we're in the 1600 building, 1602, and then 1802. Same size, effective age 2001. Effective age 2001 on comp number 3 is in the 1700 building. So from looking at this, we didn't see one single effective age different than 2001. So here's the question. If we look at these units, for example, 1602, you may have knowledge of. Was 1602 rebuilt? Was it a damage? Was it what was it, or was it just like yours?
No, I don't think they had any.
They had
They
a
were not-
window and water damage upstairs. bedroom and they replaced and painted and replaced carpet and that kind of thing, yeah. But replaced the window, but
So-
no.
You know, what we did in here is we made everything 2001. So, how much time do I have left? 2 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna go quick. In Bay House, the damage was not uniform. And so, the appraisal district spent lots of time at all the condo complexes. Here's Key Allegro North. Key Allegro North, we could walk in and out of every unit. The doors were always open. We saw all the stuff that was going on all the time. Allegro North, very simple. Bay House, not like that at all. Doors were shut, doors were locked, windows were covered. We couldn't tell if this unit's being rebuilt and this one's not. There was no way for us to know. It was not contiguous. And, you know, this building would be completely gutted. We go to the next one, there'd be 2 units gutted. And then there would be a door shut with blinds and welcome, knock on the door, you know, it looked like they were there. So what we did is we changed effective age to 2001 for the whole complex. It's possible that your effective age is like 1991 to reflect the difference that you're bringing up. Meaning you don't have new like everybody else has new. And so in the marketplace, if you're going for sale and somebody else's was for sale, and when you walked in and you saw, hey, this place has good sheetrock, this has good flooring, whatever, has new cabinets, and then yours is for sale, and you walk in and it doesn't, then you're at a loss unless you have something really special, which in the 1600 building, you do not have a view of Canoe Lake. Am I correct?
Do not have what?
A view of Canoe Lake.
No, not from it's. No, I guess you can see it.
Turn sideways
Yeah.
until you head the right way. So out of all this stuff, technically chase, I think there is a chance that the effective age of this condo is 1991. I would not go back to 81 because of that new roof. That new roof adds some,
No, it was that thing.
but I mean, that's where I'm at. I use some extra time. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, doing stuff, just to clear out on the forms.
That's what he's talking about.
Adjustments.
Yeah.
So real quickly, when we're comparing a subject to comps, they're not always the same. And so the adjustments is the process of taking your subject property and adding or subtracting values to comparables to make them apples and apples.
Okay, so
And that's what the
Now, you
adjustment.
can see here, go back, Jackie.
So this is a software, a software exercise?
You can see
Okay.
the comparisons going on here, and there's no adjustment because everything's the same. So there's no adjustment. And then go to the sales grid. In these, not everything's the same. Differences in square footage, but these are the same. But then see, now it's doing a balancing act. If this is worse
Okay.
than this, it's making it better. This is better than this, it's making it worse. So it's taking away value, adding value, and then giving you a net adjustment.
So
The condo complexes are pretty simple. The adjustments are pretty simple because the class is always the same. In this case, the effective age is always the same. So this thing's really just balancing out square footage. And if there was some sort of extra, I don't know, porch or something,
So again, it's a software.
that's all it is.
It's all.
We don't even,
Okay.
it's matrices from Marshall and Webb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Questions or comments? I mean.
Yeah, it's just that the units that have been completely taken down to the studs and redone. There's just no comparison. We have a friend that we were in the unit as it was being rebuilt. And I mean, there's just no comparison for ours, and there should be some way to adjust that, to know which ones.
And the point, your point about, access to these things. Yeah, we had all kinds of things. Again, I was the board at the time and I let our adjusters in and out of the buildings and some of them stayed locked for weeks. And you can imagine the damage that went on from mold and varmints and everything, found varmints, dead varmints in these things when they went back in. So, yeah, that was a problem. I never thought it would come to, 5 years later, coming to this, it being affecting this one. Yeah, but 2,500, 2,600, end of 2,700, and then the tornado jumped across and took off the end of 1,800 and 1,900, and then jumped across and leveled the apartment complex. So that's literally we follow the path. But the access to it is just not available. Because we have people living in Nebraska.
No, I wanted to ask a question back over here with get more comments or questions. You were talking about taking it back to 1991. What kind of numbers would that be?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, normally I don't suggest doing changes like this in a hearing, but what they're bringing up is it's really a depreciation issue. Is what we're talking about. It's you have a more depreciated condo than your neighbor.
Last time we were here, used the term obsolescence depreciation. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm less prone to use obsolescence right now because this is really just more strictly a depreciation issue. The obsolescence is kind of gone. You're getting whole again over there, and it's starting to drift away and just become a condo complex.
Yes.
And as a condo complex, you are going to have a bottom number, meaning you could have a pretty terrible condo, pretty bad. And someone's still going to pay a small portion. You know what I mean? Because it's interoperable. Yeah,
That's correct.
So we can change the software to reflect Jackie 1991 so that people can have a basic idea of what that would be. So what this is going to introduce more depreciation.
Sorry, that was
Okay.
that was my mistake.
This will just introduce depreciation back into the account on the basis of the testimony that was given today. And I mean,
So there's that.
normally I'm not going to agree to do this, but this makes sense to me right now. So looks like about a $20,000 change there, but it's going to be a little more than that because there's an adjustment. So go here. Here, it's going to change it to 298.30 from 320. There you go. Yeah, so that's whatever that comes up with, a 38,000 or so. That's it. That's great depreciation dollars going back out.
Can we get a nod? We'll nod to that. I mean, this board has been very fair to us over the last 5 years. I've got to say that. And so, and I know things have gone up, everything. If you settle for 298, you'll park with them.
I was gonna ask a quick question on the subsidence issue. When did that really manifest itself, or has it been an ongoing problem for us?
It's an ongoing problem. And I said in my testimony that we had no visible damage from that. But we had seen some washing onto the then bulkhead, the old one. In 1500 and 1600, much of it. Well, Harvey came through and that became intolerable, absolutely intolerable. The bulkhead was thrown away, and that's when we really started. There was literally a channel cut underneath that building, underneath our unit in the middle of it. From water. You have to understand. The cemetery and Harbor Oaks here. Well, there's about a 4-foot drop from that cemetery level to our front door. and maybe more than that. And we are getting massive amounts of water coming off that, or down that slope. And it's a problem, folks.
Does that come in your house?
No, not yet, thankfully. We haven't had, no, we haven't rained. No. Well, there's another bad problem we've got, is that, the reservoirs around here are down by 40%. We're looking at water restrictions very quickly on the front.
Is the foundation in your building, your whole building? You indicate that was a problem, that was settling or moving? Or-
Yes.
It was level.
That's the whole law.
We've had engineers come in and run, measurements and level. And, it's been changing, and so the board decided last year that needed to be done. We did others before, and that continued to create slope. We had to go in and we put piers down and level and hopefully stabilize.
So this is already.
This has been done last fall.
And
And no, they closed right after they did it. The
well,
doors
yes,
closed.
yes.
But
And
now,
it's
8
now
months later, they're not closing the problem anymore. So there's some problems with that building.
But that was the first time I could check that for me. So the doors was closed.
How pervasive is the finance runoff issues in the complex? All over, focused in your building?
Okay, you make the right turn, there's 1,500, 1,600. You make the right turn, 1,700 and 1,800. Well, before we took care of that minor slope between the cemetery and 1700, there were washouts under the decks of 1,800 that you and I could stand up and walk around it. So it is a major problem. Right now, it stretches me off for running and anything else. I hope the one can do.
Fortunately, I mean, not fortunately, I know you're established on Wall Street.
I'm gonna say that way. People
No, that's, thank God that's been said. In fact, that was one of my points last time when I met with the board, was that, you know, if this is the date we need to sell, we can't sell because there were 2 losses. And the 10 days later, the contractor finally put his hands and said no, because the other people that were on board that were really quite aggressive and got after them. And they put their hands. But as the Constitution, they took that on. And then there was some work liens against us, but that was because the contractor not paying. And so thank God and that's one reason why some of these units were even fell. They couldn't sell it all, that was selling, sales of employees that small.
If they mention your unit, based on the change in effective date, you would bring the value down to 298 for the field, so.
Yeah, that's the number. I still, since that's really just accounting for effective age. I don't know, you were gonna say.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I still think there's some adjustment that might be warranted based on the erosion.
I agree. I was just throwing that out.
Yeah, right.
That's where we were right now.
Right.
We wanted to add in more now. Erosion.
Yes.
Well,
it's something that is important.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly, I'm afraid of what could happen if we get out.
What do you say?
We were considering getting.
That's not something that you individually want to the association.
No, the association's gonna have to do. And-
Yeah. but Yeah,
Something
exactly.
to put on the market.
Well, see, and I don't know. Are we gonna have to?
Come back.
No, are we going to have to, if we were to sell tomorrow, Are we gonna have to tell people, oh, we got problems with the road?
Yes, this is why this conversation is from the road, not. That's what we get to,
You know,
right? Sorry for saying that out loud.
Agree, I think that's not our issue here. Our issue is what the
Well-
assessed value is in town.
But it does play to equity. I'm sorry. You're looking at six.
You need to convince those people to put gutters.
Oh, yes, I'm trying.
We all have houses, my house doesn't have. And,
You know,
it's a problem,
yes.
it's a problem, that's too cheap to do it.
And you're absolutely correct. And right now, we're in the middle of this grand landscaping.
Yeah,
This is issues that don't make any sense, don't make a difference to you. But money is tight and we're gonna have to do something about, first of all, about the stabilization of that building, and then it's gonna have to be, and there are other issues beyond that, beyond just,
That whole complex.
Yeah.
Situation.
yeah.
Will be covered by
Exactly.
homeowners insurance or whatever you have there, but. In relation to that, your particular unit. I don't know, I think I just changed my mind, I think it's a 299/30. Change the effective date,
Okay, what's
it's reasonable now. That's just fine.
I agree.
Yeah, what? You have like.
All right, case item 2022-1.
Oh, that's fine.
Address the need for market value, there's a regulation of the bill. That's very old. It's very.
I'm sorry, Tim.
I'm sorry, you didn't, the protester in the district has, indicated to lower the effective age from 2021 to 2024.
19.
I'm sorry. Another century. All right. It would bring your value down to 3.8 by 20 to 298.
Wait,
I said
298.
It's 298.30.
290,830.
just 290,830.
298.
290,830.
290,000.
290,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Second.
And that makes your point even better.
Thank you guys for bringing in.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Peggy seconded it. Okay.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so you understand the new value?
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. I would not want to sit in the chair.
Might have an open spot next year.
Maybe two.
Y'all have treated us very fairly over the last 5 years.
Hey, you have to at least 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's two. There's you have.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I have.
You have signed up.
Okay, so this is.
That's the survey.
It's all in place with the White House.
Yeah, we're gonna mail you the actual order of determination. You'll get that in the mail.
Fine.
Good job.
Good luck with your complex. Yeah, well, there's so much stuff going on there. It's 40 years old. And Harvey made a huge mess that we're trying to work our way out. And the mess, there are dimensions to that mess that we're only now discovering. Thank you again, folks.
Okay.
Yes.
Y'all have a good day.
We will.
Y'all too.
Right. Here's the paper for you.
Paperclip, you get it?
Yeah. It has your name on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My special.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Appreciate it very much.
Case number is 132 Account number 58875. Colleagues.
Account number is 58875.
The order of determination.
That's in there for some.
The only thing you're gonna have to sign is actual, certified. You don't have, yeah, no, you're good here. No, I know you're back.
We got one coming in now.
Phone. I like the phone. So just to give y'all a heads up, we pretty much almost did the whole docket. So we do have 2 in-persons waiting, and then this phone and another phone.
We got 2 for 10.
We haven't gotten to the 10 yet. I'm just excited about the 8:30.
We want more.
Okay, you be careful what you wish for.
I think so.
Ah, I was wondering.
Hello, good morning, this is, appraisal and review.
Hello.
Going to the budget hearing. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. They said this is the appraisal review board calling for your protest hearing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Morning, Kenneth. I have some administrative stuff to go through first, so if you hang with us, we'll get started here. We'll get started in just a second. So we are commencing the hearing on case ID 2022-132, account number 58875, 212 South 6th Street in Rockport. This hearing is being recorded. Going to verify exactly what's under protest. Okay, so Q1 and Q2 is under protest. The appraisal review board that will hear your we are the appraisal review board that will hear your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. The comptroller provides an electronic survey for you to offer feedback about your experience that may be accessed at the appraisal district office, or you can take an online survey at surveymonkey.com/r/survey ARB. The survey is voluntary. There's also going to be a copy of that survey in the determination package that you'll receive in the mail after this hearing. You also have the right to appeal our decision. And appeal information is also provided in that determination package that you'll receive in the mail. In accordance with tax code section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. So this is important. We just need to make sure that you have submitted all of your evidence. And I do see that we have a fair bit of evidence here, quite a bit of evidence. Okay. Very good. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I have the confidence in solemnly swear that I am not communicating with a person in violation of tax code 41. I, Joanne Ferguson, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.68.
I, Ron McCann, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I, Peggy Bird, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66 F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath, and I'm assuming that since we do have a signed and notarized copy of your affidavit, that you are in fact under oath.
Correct.
Okay, Kenneth, I need to ask if you hold a license or certificate from the Texas Appraisers Licensing and Certification Board.
No, sir.
Okay, and that's fine. We just need to ask everybody.
I read Russell, so I was where from, the tattoo shop is at the appraisal report, the Hispanic appraisal district.
Thank you, Ray. All right, Kenneth, in the package that you received from the district, there's a chart page that's called the hearing procedure times. If you have that available, that shows how we're going to be running the hearing today. There's two columns. One column in that chart says if the protester goes first, the other column says if the district goes first, and lays out the amount of time allotted to each part of the hearing. You get to choose whether or not you present first or whether you would like the district to present first.
Okay, I don't mind presenting first, that's fine.
Okay, Ken, if you have 5 minutes for your presentation, and then we'll have 4 minutes after go through the.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, so the evidence that was given, the copies there, they're numbered 1 through 8. The reason that those are given as evidence that's not as a comparable is that to show the homes that are in my neighborhood, right next door, 2 doors down, right there in the block. So if you look at packet 1, it is a cinder block home valued at $167,000, 1,400 square foot. Packet 2 is it's 2 doors down from me. It's a trailer that is valued at $79,000. Packet 3 is another home that is a 900 square foot home. That value is coming in at $50,000. Packet 4, 202 South 6th Street. It is another trailer that is 2 doors down from me. That was affected by Harvey. It's coming in at $45,000. Packet 5. Let's see. This is a duplex that's across the street from me. It's on a rather large lot. It has a small 2-bedroom in the back, and it has a trailer that's dilapidated in the back of it. It is coming in at $300,000. It's recently sold, but the people that have lived there, I got with the guy buying it, and it was so filthy inside, the appraiser couldn't even get inside this building. So as I mentioned, it's these few buildings that are on this one lot. I'm trying to give an idea of the homes that are on this street. Building evidence number 6, 601 Fulton, which is catty cornered across the street from me. As you see the roof pictures on that home affected by Harvey that still hasn't been fixed. The tiles are off the roof. I'm not sure what the inside of the home is, but without a roof, I'm sure that there's damage to it. One of the cement walls that surround the building is blown down as well. Packet 7, 114 6th Street is, let's see, this is right at the 100-200 block. It's about 4 doors down from me. As you see the pictures of that home, another home affected by Harvey that has not been fixed. And the last, number 8, which is a home right next to the one I just mentioned, it's listed as NA in the website of the tax deal of the appraisal. I'm guessing NA would maybe mean the home is condemned. I'm not sure. But as you see in the pictures, and all this 1 through 8, is what I'm trying to, I guess, make my point that these are homes that surround me, right around me. And, of course, this affects your valuation. What I do feel are the homes that are across from me. Pocket 9, 10, and well, no, I don't think I did a 9, 10, and 11. I'm not sure. But 9 is a home that's next to me. It is an all brick home, 208 South 6th Street. It's 1,500 square foot. It's on a double lot, and it's coming in at 199. Number 10, 207 South 6th Street. It's right across the street from me. This is a 1,560 square foot home with a 2-car garage on a double lot, and that's coming in at 272. And number 11, lastly, is a home that's across the street from me. It has a total of 2016 square foot. It has a small apartment in the backyard on a 100 by 125 foot lot. And that's coming in at 280,000. So the last 3 that I mentioned are probably the only homes, that break 200,000 in my neighborhood. Everything else is coming in like at 100 and 150,000. When you look at the comparables that Rockport used on 2nd Street and Fulton. These homes, they're all in very nice neighborhoods. If you look at all the surrounding homes, they're all 300 to 400 plus. The one single story home is actually for sale at 550. I do understand the appraisal, they do the adding and subtracting, for allowing for this and allowing for that. But, again, by comparison, if you were going to buy a home, and with the evidence and the pictures that I gave, then if you go look at the homes that were my comparables, and you look at the surroundings that have water views, that have, $300,000 and $400,000 homes around them, it makes a big difference in a buyer's eye of which direction that they're going to go. Me and my wife, we recently built this home. I had a home that was on that lot that was blown down by Harvey. It was a manufactured home. We could afford to build we contracted that home ourselves. I guess what I'm trying to head at is that if I was gonna flip a home or try to make money on a home, I wouldn't have picked that neighborhood to do that in. I love my neighbors, but I'm just trying to say that, I'd already owned the land and we're there because we're eventually gonna move there, and I want to be there, and I am happy there, but I just feel the valuation is unfair for these reasons that I just gave.
And your time is up for the moment. We'll get some more minutes in a few minutes, but
Sure.
right now the district has 2 minutes to question you and 5 minutes for their presentation.
Sure.
And did you guys consider, given this neighborhood problem that you're talking about, did you guys consider building this home somewhere else?
No, we didn't, because again, it was a piece of land that we've actually been residents of there for, I want to say off the top of my head, 15 years. And, the land was paid for, and we didn't even know when we got with the architect that we would even be able to put a home of that size, because it is on a single lot. I only have 5-foot boundaries on each side. But again, we didn't build this home to make money to, flip a home or whatever. We built this home because we want to live there. Our future goal is 5 to 7 years to retire, and this is where we want to go to and live there. And again, I'm very happy with our neighbors. It's just the pictures that I pointed out, yes, it is what it is, but again, if I was somebody that was out there to make money, I definitely would have built on Second Street, Fulton Avenue, waterfront, Water Street, that kind of thing, and again, we're happy there. I mean, because this was just,
Ken, and I hate to interrupt you, but this is the district's time. I know he asked you a question, but I think you answered it.
Oh,
So we'll go back.
okay.
Go back to the district right now.
Sure.
One of the things is, the items that you brought up can, with maybe the exception of Second Street and parts of Fulton Avenue, I understand that's an area that's a little bit better there.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that you brought up could be brought up anywhere between Henderson and Mesquite. Crossing Rockport into Fulton, it's the Wild West in that area. People do all kinds of stuff and don't fix stuff and leave stuff vacant.
Yeah.
I mean, the town of Fulton, and Fulton proper there, which you're not in, but you're very, very close to it. And people wouldn't really know how to distinguish the difference if they were driving between you and Fulton. The reality is what you're explaining to us in the board is Fulton. That's what Fulton is like. There's mobile homes, there's RVs, there's homes that are old, there's all kinds of stuff there. But it has a market, so that's the tricky part. So we're gonna look at some sales. And the district needs to prove sales and equity. And you're absolutely right. Two of our sales are on Second Street, right? It's South Second and North Second. So those are different because they're not next door to each other. I'm assuming since there's a south and a north, I'm not sure where the break happens, but the south second is over by Fulton Avenue. The north second, we may have to look at. But both of those sold for over $400,000. And neither one of them are worth $400,000. But they both sold for that kind of money. And then there's a sell on 6th Street. On North 6th Street, you're on South 6th Street for $330,000, $330,000. So the sale numbers are very high. And then the median value for sales is 370, showing us to be $40,000 low on your house. I don't think it's hard. But that's what it says. And the reason it says that is because the people want to be important. Fulton is high traffic. People like Fulton. Yes. But when you look at the equity grid, we are high on your house. And the reason for that is because the market is hard for us to catch. It's hard for us to catch that market over there. So we're high on your house by $22,000. Our equity grid says it's a $308,000 house. Again, it's using comps on 2nd Street and one on 4th Street to create that value. And it's having class 4 homes. It's our class 5 homes. There's a lot of stuff going on here where some of them are larger, but yours is newer. There's a lot of adjustments taking place to create that number. The sale ratio, total sales for that area is 40. So there's 40 sales in 1 year between essentially where you live, Mesquite, Fulton Beach Road. Well, let me make sure that's Fulton. This is just Fulton. So this is all of Fulton. Anything that is, I know you're Rockport, but nobody thinks you. I mean, everybody thinks that's Fulton. So we comp Fulton. There's 40 sales in Fulton. This part of Fulton. That's where, it's just a market that moves a lot. But that being said, we can't prove 330, we prove 308. That's all I have.
Okay, Ken, if you have, 4 minutes, if you'd like a question or any additional comments.
Okay, so the last 3 homes that I mentioned, when I talked, that were across the street from me, that were in the $270,000 range. When you look at their, price increase, on their taxes, they were, one was like 25,000, the other was 30,000. My home went from a 250 to a 330, which was a $80,000 increase. And so that's one thing I want to point out, and which I do know when I see on the adding and subtracting. Again, just to remind, I do just have a single lot. It's a 50 by 100 foot lot. My easements on my home are only 5 feet. I only have 5 feet on each side after building. Just a walk through. Also, like the other home that was mentioned, I think down the way on 6th Street, that was over 330. Take into consideration the large front patio that they have on there. And there's because I drove by the home to look at it, and in the backyard, there is a large back patio. My home has no patios, it has no garages. It's just a straight home. That's all that would fit on that lot. So I have no garages, no patios, other than a small patio that's under the front door and like a 10 by 14 patio off the back door. I don't have, no buildings other than a small 8 by 10 shed that's in the backyard. So some of these other homes too as well, they're coming with garages. The one comparable even on 2nd Street, it even had an apartment for rental that was attached to it. So my point being that, there's nothing with my home. I don't have no sprinkler system. I don't have, some of these other added values that some of these homes have. So just.
Okay, still got a minute, Ken, if you have anything else you want to add.
For the most part, I mean, that's about it. Point out, like I said, the homes that were across the street that were probably in my most immediate area that I think are comparable. Because the one home is at 2,400. The other one's at 1,600 square feet. They have garages. One has an apartment in the back. And again, their valuation was, a $25,000 to $30,000 increase versus mine from a 250 to a 330, which was an $80,000 increase.
Okay.
So that's all.
Okay, fine. Then the district has 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Okay.
The only thing I have to say about the increase is his previous year was an incomplete house. So his increase is going to be greater than anybody else. That unless you also didn't have a complete house. So there's extra percentage of his increase that is just us going from not complete to. His neighborhood adjustment is the same as everybody else's. And there's no additional adjustments in the account. Everything is, there's no additional adjustments going on. It's just incomplete to complete plus our increased neighborhood adjustment, creating whatever amount that is from 255 to 330. That's where those numbers come from. And again, the district can't prove 330, all we prove is 308.
Okay, we have 1 minute for closing.
Okay, just looking at valuation, so, it looks like, Rockport, Fulton, they go like, give or take like at $30,000 on a single lot. So, that's where mine comes in. So if you take 30,000 off of the 330 or even the 308, whatever it is that we're gonna go off of, that puts my home at 300 or the very high 200s. Again, these homes with, right at the same square footage on double lot with land at 60,000 plus, coming in at 270, that's putting their homes right at 200. That's giving my home $100,000 valuation, more than theirs, and they have sprinkler systems, they have garages, they have apartments in the backyard. Things to give that I don't have, and and given it's on a single lot, I think, that is a big increase.
Kenneth, your time is up right now.
Okay.
No, I mean, the only thing is when, maybe I do that. Yeah, the equity of situations has to always be more than just what's on Sixth Street or South Sixth Street. When the district is looking at equity, we're gonna look at all of Fulton, and we're gonna try to balance out class square footage away. Although in Fulton, that's very difficult. There's no two things are the same. So that's where we're at here. Not 308. I don't really know what it is. Land values in Lockport and Fulton don't average $30,000. We have different land tables everywhere. To try to capture the land value.
Okay,
Okay.
and the ARB now has 5 minutes to discuss your case, so just hold on with us, you'll hear our conversation.
Okay.
Yes, 308, yeah. Right, 3896.
All right, in case ID 2020-132, account 575, addressing the right market value, appraisal. Has shown that the fact this property has its value lowered, equity value. So we're going to reduce the order price from 296,760 to 308,960.
It's really 330, 510 to 308.
Oh, I read the wrong one.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we're reducing the price from 335.10 to 308,960.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, Kenneth, you understand the number that we went to?
I did,
Okay, very good. I think we're done here. And you will receive a determination package in the mail here shortly.
okay. All right.
Does he have one more?
No.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for your time. Well,
All right, case number 582, count number 16344, another phone call.
These people out there, wasn't
Yeah, I told
okay, you talked to them?
them, yes,
Okay.
344.
and they can hear. Yeah.
Joe. Yeah, it's page 2, middle of the page.
Think so?
Phone call.
All right.
Hi, this is Laura.
Denise.
it is.
Laura, hi, this is the appraisal review board calling for your protest hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Laura. I have a bunch of administrative stuff to go through first. And then we'll
Okay.
get into the meat of your case. So we are We are commencing a hearing on case ID 2022-582. Account number 16344, which is 110 Bufflehead Lane in Rockport.
Yeah.
This hearing is being recorded. Let's verify exactly what's on the protest. Okay, so Q1 and Q2, working the next. Thank you. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal board. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. The comptroller's office provides an electronic survey for you to offer feedback about your experience today, and that may be accessed. You can either pick up a paper form at the appraisal district office. One will be included in your determination package as well. Or if you'd like to take the survey online, you can go to surveymonkey.com/r/survey ARB. The survey is voluntary, and all that information I just mentioned is included in the determination package that you'll receive in the mail after the hearing. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination, and it will be in that package that you'll receive in the mail. In accordance with tax code section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. And I just want to make sure, since it's important, that we have all of your evidence. Okay, the only thing we have is your affidavit. Is there any other evidence that you were going to submit?
No, I was just going over some of the stuff that y'all said, like comparing our house to other houses and stuff.
Okay, that's fine. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. I, Scott Wagner, can solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with a person in violation of tax code 41.66. I, Joanne Ferguson, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
I, Ronald Cannon, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Peggy Bird, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath, and I'm assuming, since we do have a signed and notarized affidavit from you, that you are in fact under oath for the hearing. Okay, Laura, I need to ask you if you hold a license or certificate from the Texas Appraisers Licensing and Certification Board.
No.
Okay, that's fine. We just need to ask everybody that.
Okay.
Do you have a copy of the hearing procedure times page that was included in the package of information received from the district?
I'm sure I did here somewhere. A lot of stuff in there.
That's okay. If it's not handy, we'll go through it as we proceed in the hearing. Basically, that hearing procedure times page has two columns. One that identifies if you go first in making presentation, or if the district goes first in making the presentation. You get to make the choice. You get to make the choice of whether you want to go first or you'd like the district to go first.
It don't matter. I can just say what I just need to say, and y'all can say whatever you want to say.
That's fine. So
A
you.
lot more.
Laura, you want to go first? Right, you have 5 minutes for your presentation, and then we have some additional minutes.
Okay, 30 minutes now? Sure. Okay, well, basically, like last year, they went up 107,000 on our appraisal value, and I tried to protest that last year, but in the paperwork, they got mixed up, and I never got some of the stuff that I needed. But then I wrote a letter to the board, and y'all denied it again, just giving kind of thing. We thought that was a lot for a 1 year jump. I know this year I only went up 23,420, but still at, almost 130,000 plus in 2 years. That's gone up. And I know the houses are selling big, market's crazy. But if you compare like the house down the street, and he's got the land value, 121 Bucklehead, the land value is 1,372 square feet, and he's got a 4-bedroom house and everything else. He's appraised at the same thing as mine, and he's got a corner lot, the view of the water and everything. And our other thing is, when you're coming out that way, there's been no improvement to the county. There's a junkyard there that everybody's been trying to get rid of. And the roads are messed up, and, our tax money that we're paying for this is, I don't see any improvements out there. And we haven't done anything to the house since we built the house. And I can't see going up that much in, 2 years. Basically. I don't think a lot of these houses have compared apples to apples, out there.
Still have 3 minutes or so if you want to continue on or have more. If you have more comments, that's fine. If not, that's fine too.
I don't know. I don't really, I've been looking at some of my neighbors' stuff, how big their square footage is compared to our square footage. And, they didn't go up nearly as much as we did in the last 2 years. Our neighbors have done improvements. Some of them have done improvements, and they feel their taxes are lower than ours. I don't know if it's because it's our second home. The reason being ours is higher. And I don't know what some of the stuff that y'all have. It's actually the segments and adjustments. Well, we don't have anything on ours. Our neighbors have adjustments on theirs, and we don't have anything underneath that category.
Okay, I think the district will be able to explain that to you.
Okay.
But you can continue if you have more to say in a couple of minutes.
No, not that I can think of at the moment now.
Well, the district will have their time, and then you'll have some more minutes as well to ask questions.
Okay.
Okay, I can assure you it's not because of your second home from like a sinister type of thing. But in a way it is because of your second home, because you can't homestead your second home. And so it's true that your second home will have the potential to cost you more money than your homestead. It has the potential to go to market value without limitation because there's not a homestead. If you were to turn 65, your second home, because it doesn't have a homestead, would not be eligible for a freeze. So while it's very true that appraisal districts are not allowed to be sinister in sort of picking on people who have second homes because it's against the law, and also because it would be nearly impossible for us to hire employees who would be willing to do something like that. It is true that owning a second home is more expensive from the standpoint of not being eligible for any exemptions, unless you're 100% completely better. Then there's an exemption available in. I'm going to go into our evidence here, and probably the best thing to do is put this on picto. Have you already done that, Jack? Yeah, let's let everybody see where this is at. This is in Coconut Cove, and go ahead and zoom out. And let's give an idea of where Bucklehead is. Keep on going. A real good. Go to Mosaic, please. Right. Go here.
Where, sorry?
There, and then go to Mosaic. Up, right there. Right there. Okay, so you go that way to head back to Rockport, and you go that way to go to Fort Bay. So that's your location. Coconut Cove Road continues out, show them where Coconut Cove kind of continues out and makes its way to where it almost touches Coconut Ridge. That's Salt Lake. This is the location of Bufflehead right here. Bufflehead and Ball have some similar characteristics. And then these cameras back in Lake Shore have similar characteristics. You can kind of see how it lays out. There. All right. So let's look at cells. And cell number 1 is on Coconut Cove Road. And it is a 2019 bill, 1,620 square feet, sold for $485. The subject is a 2018 bill, 1,591 square feet. We have it valued at $428. The next comp is 319 Sagebrush. This particular property sold for $390. It's around 170 square feet bigger. And all the build date is a wash. Land values are pretty close. Comps out at $399. And this particular comp here, let me just show you all where this is at. On Victor 15693. So don't go there. Jackie. Don't type it in.
Okay.
It's
I have no idea.
go this way. Try to keep that on the screen. Okay. Okay, go ahead and type it in. You thought it was right. I thought it was right there, but it's not. So, oh, right there. I knew it was around there somewhere. It's right there. So that sold. And again, Bufflehead is right across the street. So that sold in whatever last year, this year, January 20. Okay, so the next cell is on Coconut Cove Road. Yeah, okay, the next cell on Coconut Cove Road, a little bit smaller, same age, all that's the same. 498, sold for 498. And then there's a cell on the Intel for 349. A little bit smaller, a little bit older, but not much. The median value from the sales comparison of product is 439. I would add that within the last 2 years of Coconut Cove has been experiencing sales that are north of $400,000. And so, that's a little bit new. All right, Bufflehead. Once in Bufflehead in the equity grid, all 3 comps that we're going to use for equity are on Bufflehead. The reason for that is because people have recently rolled on it. So the subject of the 2018, the first comp of the 2019 on Bufflehead, the next comp potentially next door. It's built in 2020, comes out at 417. The first one comes out at 433. The difference between comp number 2 and comp number 1 is basically 100 square feet, 105 square feet, if I'm doing my math right, and a little bit of depreciation. For the most part, they're pretty similar. There's a couple extra orders on comp 2. All right, comp number 3. This is 107 Bufflehead. I'm assuming odd and even that this is across the street. This is larger, a little bit older. Comes out at 448. The median equity value is 433,717. In both grids, we improved at 428. In our opinion, is the value of this house, specifically saying that this house would sell for 428 if put on the market.
Explain real quickly the pluses and minuses. Laura seemed to have a question about why.
Yeah, so if something, we're comparing you to these, Laura, to these properties, and if something, in doing the comparison, if they're better than you, then we're gonna take away value. If they're worse than you, we're gonna add value. On the sales approach, we're calculating that off the sell price. to find out what would your house have sold for under these conditions. It's just, it's a motionless map. You know, it's all it is. It's taken away and it's adding and it's trying to say what would happen if. And then in equity, it's doing the same thing, but it's not calculating off of any kind of sell price. It's calculating off market value, our market value. And the purpose for doing that is, this is where you would find out if the appraisal district had started manipulating your account different than other people. One of the things that would stand out on here, as an example, is if you had an outdoor kitchen and we had it classed in the porch, and we don't have an outdoor kitchen classification, so it's possible for us to increase your porch value, trying to capture that money, that data, it would stand out. It would stand out on this report. It would be like, there would be a drastic difference in value on it, and it would, and no explainable reason why. And so it's important that an equity grid makes some sense. In this one, it makes, I'm super comfortable with this grid because all of these homes are on Bufflehead, because, you know, people have been building on Bufflehead, so we have 20. That's it.
You have 4 minutes for rebuttal and questions, if you have any, Ray. Okay.
Well, I just didn't know like what some of this, with the segments and adjustments, like it's MA 1441. And then we don't have anything, and then the other people have like $5,000 credit, and the other one, she doesn't have any, she's got 10,000 plus, like that what you're talking about?
So that,
For the,
on that MA 441 to MA 1520, their MA has more, is their main area, which is not their downstairs space. When it compares those two, the software says comp one is better than the subject, so take value away, to try to figure out what would have happened if your house would have been for sale. And in order to do that, it has to say this MA is smaller. So pull value out. And then it adds a little bit of value because you're underneath, you look down and it says MAS 150, MAS 128. It adds a little bit of value there because your MA is better. So it's saying MAS, I'm sorry, downstairs. MAS is for downstairs. So it's just balancing those things out in comparison. Like you have a boat storage carport thing on the canal, and the comp number one does not. So it's adding value, saying if this thing was for sale, whoever would have bought this would have gotten that. So it's putting that value back.
Number two should have.
That's why it's taken. I mean, that's why it said.
Okay.
That's why it said.
Well, you still have time if you have some questions.
I don't know, I mean, what are some of the stuff that says like elevator 3, something, elevator 1 or open air lift, does that make a difference on any of them?
So in yours, you know how yours says elevator 3 and it says 1? What an elevator 3 is, I'm pretty sure, hold on, let me check something. I don't do elevators, so. Do you have an indoor elevator?
No, it's just the outdoor lift.
Then that's really incorrect. It should be an elevator 1, I believe. An elevator 3, I'm pretty sure an elevator 3 is an indoor elevator. Again, not very many people have elevators. So I don't, off the top of my head, off the top of my head, the elevator 3 is an indoor unit. So that could be it. That could be incorrect. Yeah, it would be much higher.
But it says EL3 and it's got a 1 next.
The 1 means that there's one. Yeah, that's the count. So we could look at that as if it is an outdoor
Can you
elevator.
change it?
Well, I mean.
Elevator 3 is 5340. Get me to put it to 1 and see what it does.
Well, that's fine. I just want to know if I'm right.
Elevator 1 is an open air lift.
That's what she. Yeah. That's what she. Something to bring the groceries.
Yeah. Right.
So that would need.
So they're out in different ones, there's some that have elevator 3, some have elevator 1, and some they open air, well, I didn't know what the
Yeah,
difference was.
what you're describing is an open air. Okay. That's what you're describing. And so like comp number
Right.
2 says elevator 3, 9. So it doesn't have one. Comp number 1 doesn't have. Comp number 2 doesn't have. Probably none of them. That incorrect.
I think comp,
It should be a 1.
We can adjust that.
That's not a problem. But that's all I have. I mean, I think she asked.
Laura, you got, another minute if you have any questions.
well, just, I don't know, I mean, y'all are a lot more formal than what we are here in Victoria. You know, that was our basic thing, is just, you know, going up that much in the past 2 years, and, you know, we've seen like our neighbors and talked to them, and, you know, theirs have not gone up that much, but, you know, like I said, couple of them do live there, and a couple of them don't, but, you know, we're just, hopefully we'll be down there this next year, we're moving, hopefully. You know, we're just trying to do what we can with the economy and everything the way it is, just trying to stay where we can, I guess, basically. And, you know, we'd like to see more improvements on the roads and stuff going out that way, and get rid of some of the trash that's built up out there.
Yeah, Jackie, can you make the change and let's see what the effect is?
Or we're gonna look at, what the change in last time, elevator is 1 instead of 3.
So that's what it is now.
Okay. Probably not much.
$422,190.
$422,190. Yeah, so that went down 6,000. 422,190.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah, it's total value, yeah.
It's not.
Brad, I have a quick question. At what point does appreciation start? It's after certain.
Yeah, it's gonna be next year for him. For that house.
So the general, like after 5 years?
It's about a 5-year window, except for docks and.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the main value, yeah.
I think the improvement for the sales.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion on your account. It's, case item 2022-5, account number 16334. Incorrect appraisal market value. Appraisal is the level of appraisal. This is shown that in both cases, they're actually involved in their own placement of property. However, I'm going over there, indoor elevator is rented by. 422.
Okay.
On second, okay, all in favor?
Ron, that was you.
Yes. Anybody opposed? Okay, Laura, so you understand the new value?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you mentioned that you may be moving from Victoria, so just as quickly as you can, change your homestead exemption.
Oh, yeah, we will.
Okay.
All right.
It's gonna be
Thank you for your time.
the driveway.
Bye-bye.
Let me guess go. I mean, you have to like switch the back and all that.
Okay, next is.
In person.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that one.
Okay, we'll get that one.
Case number 628. It's right below this.
There will be any evidence on this.
Okay.
And can you switch to?
Yeah, let's see, Mike.
And I got them getting Scott to come help do that, so we've got me help.
Which one do you want?
Everyone got with great.
What number is it?
628 is the case.
Oh, here.
Bottom of the page 2.
I think I did.
You did it.
Wow.
You got it. Is that all of it?
They only switched one of them. They have only been switching one. I could switch them both, but.
I just don't know.
So,
I didn't just do that.
Huh?
Where am I gonna?
here and
Oh, there we go. Okay.
right away, right immediately.
And it's one of the-
Huh?
I couldn't figure out how to get right here, but I got it. We're good.
Yeah, the elevator is gonna be in.
Thank you.
That's what I was trying to figure
Hello,
out.
hello.
So I'll just move everything else over here, like if they want to see it. I'll have to move it. We can't do it.
You can only see.
I don't know if you wanted,
Okay.
whichever is easier for
Thank
you.
Sure.
You want this chair? You want a softer chair?
No, I'm good.
Sure. I'm a spectator here, my wife did all the work.
I get put it all on a USB. Did you?
Yes, they're.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Okay, perfect.
And then I will let you, when it's your turn to do that.
Oh, okay.
So good morning. I have an administrative stuff to go through.
Okay.
Kick things off. So we're commencing a hearing on case ID 2022-628. Count number 31503. 706 Waterwood, Rockport. This hearing is being recorded. Verify what's under protest.
He wanted to earmark it.
Okay, thank you. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form, which we happen to have conveniently a whole stack of here, but you can only take one.
Darn.
Darn, well, I should say darn. That could be like. The survey may be completed using that survey form and emailed to pcad.communications@cpa.texas.gov, or you can fill it out and leave it here or fill it out and mail it back. Or if you're so inclined, you can actually take it online at surveymotion.com/r/survey ARB. Survey is voluntary, and all of that information I just spewed out with email addresses and URLs is on this form, as well as in the determination package that you'll receive in the mail after the hearing. You also have the right to appeal our decision, and appeal information is also provided to you with that determination package. In accordance with tax code section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time, and we see that you have a USB key that you have provided to us that will be displaying information. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I have not been, do solemnly swear that I was communicated with a person in violation of tax code 41.66. I, Joanna Ferguson, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66.
I, Ronald McCann, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I, Peggy Bird, do solemnly swear that I will not communicate with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
Okay, all testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. The vessel scheduled through.
Read this statement.
Okay, I do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
And then state your name.
And Becky Tucker.
And then, sir, the same.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true.
And then state your name.
Oh, my name is Wayne Owens.
I request to be solemnly swear affirm that nothing I shall present to the appraisal review board for the same appraisal district is true as well.
Thank you.
Okay, Wayne and Becky, I need to ask you if either of you hold a license or certificate from the Texas Appraisal Licensing and Certification Board.
No.
In front of you is a chart, which is a hearing procedure times. You can see that there's two ways the hearing can run. One is if you go first, presenting information. The other is if the district goes first, and you get to make the choice.
Can we go first?
You certainly can.
Right now.
It shouldn't take us that long, but let me explain why we're here. We have been in Rockford for 3 years. We sold our former home at 102 Dream Oak last year in June. And we purchased this home in Country Club at 706 in May. And we moved into the home in May, pending the closing on the other house. In pulling up the taxes on Dream Oak, we sold that house for $425 or $172.48 per square foot. And the market price today on that house is $402,580 or $163.38. And I'm sorry, I don't have the evidence of that. I just couldn't get it on scan it in it last night. The current market for those homes over in Wandering Oaks of that model is $465 or $188.72. So that kind of set me in motion. It's like, okay, why did 706, which we bought for $417,835, the assessed value for 2021 had been raised to $403,840. And it was already higher than the neighborhood, but was within range when we purchased it, you know, if we did the comps on it. So then today it's up to $458,650. And it's like, why did that go up in 7 months, almost 10%? And that's the piece that brought us here. It's like, how did we get from there to there? And so I looked at it various different ways, and let me give you a little background. We've been here 3 years, but we've lived in North Texas, and we've owned homes in Denton and Dallas County when the huge appreciation started happening there. And Frisco, we happen to live in Frisco, and Frisco 4 years ago just took off. Our values were just jumping like crazy, and we built a home there. And one of the things that ended up happening with our property taxes is as the market increased, they raised the entire neighborhood. There was no question. Everybody went up. So market value became, it wasn't the houses that were sold or anything. It was the whole street would go up at one time, or the whole neighborhood would go up at one time. Same thing happened in Addison when we lived there, and the same thing happened in Plano. So I'm coming to you from kind of that premise is when a market goes up, everybody goes up. And what I've really started looking at this, our neighborhood it encompasses Waterwood's a fairly substantial street. There's 14 homes on there. We have Augusta on this side. We have Bent Tree beside us, and we're all pretty comparable. You know, there's a little bit of years difference here and there, but we're pretty much all single-story homes. Most of the homes are, I would say, moderate level. Some homes are premium, others are not. But it was easy to kind of really make a comparison to that. You guys have provided us with a lot of comp comparisons. And I use that kind of as the premise for looking at how the other homes on my street compared to those homes. And it was, when looking at it, you know, homes on our street, we have, a lot of them are on Fairway, a lot of them have additional garages, a lot of them have extensive updates.
And there's some with a lot larger square footage, including the house next door to us. How I got to the numbers. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
If you want me to move, just let me know.
Oh, okay. I was just looking at that. I was like, what's that? Okay, the data you provided us, there was comp equities calculated. And I did the same with the same as this. The comp values, when you did it for us, the dollars were per square foot, less 10% depreciation, plus a 35% increase for subdivision. And I'm assuming this was for street and surrounding areas, because as I did the research, I found that 35% didn't hold water for some other parts of Country Club. It seemed like it was just this area. The second calculation I did was to calculate the dollars per square foot as a potential buyer or realtor. And that was total market value divided by square footage of the main living areas. And that's, that's a quick and easy way to do things. When we bought our house was not in good condition at 417, and we ended up paying higher than what the home needed. And I'll explain why. I have provided pictures. We had to replace the roof after the rain in July of 2021. We found that we had 12 leaks. Most of the roof in the living room came down, and we had a tile roof with rotten decking and rotten felt. $65,000 later, they had to remove all that tile. We had to put on a new roof.
I have to stop you in a minute, but
Yeah,
do you have much more you want to present?
just a little bit.
Another minute if you like, but I take care of it. Before I get to this one.
Also the house is the kitchen's outdated with 21-year-old appliances. And we lost all the landscaping. I mean, the house is not what I call a premier house at this point. It's got a lot of damages. The comparison on the fairway access, I did two comparisons. Comparison of fairway access, which is what we are. There's 5 properties. And in that neighborhood, 376,796 is the average market value, or 153,796. And that's on the documents that provided. The comp value of 706 would then be 362,983 or 143,98. When you compare all homes on Waterwood, in this comp, the average market value on the street goes up to 401,041 or 163,89, and the comp of us would be 406,892 or 161,40. I originally asked for a value of 391,295 or 155,21. And it was just kind of an average. As I did more research, I probably should have done a little higher, but not much more. And so that's kind of how we got here, and why we're in front of you, because the numbers aren't adding up when we start comparing ourselves to others within our own neighborhoods.
I'm going to give you a couple of minutes later on.
Okay.
Right now, it's time for the district.
Okay.
to Cross-examine and make a final.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. So if there's specific questions that you want me to answer, back when it's your turn, feel free to ask.
Okay.
And I'll answer it. If you want to answer it, at least I'll try to. I just want to go straight into sales here and equity. We'll look at both grids. And comp number 1 is the subject in May of 21 for 478.35. That's the first comp. You'll notice that we are, I don't know, what is that, $40,000 over their May purchase price. So comp number 2 is in the grid, and it's smaller, very similar in age. So for 440, comp number 3 is a little bit larger and newer, way newer, brand new. So for 490, comp number 4 is on Cherry Hill. So for 535, there's a pretty big land adjustment going on there. Even though the land is smaller than the subject, but it has a view of the water, of the fairway. So rendering a value of 456, a median value of 456 when and we go off the sale.
Oh, okay.
In equity, we have another house on Waterwood
Oh,
that's older,
okay.
maybe a little bit bigger, not much, kind of a wash. Comes out at 424. Let's see, on Cascades, we have house that's about the same size, about the same age, comes out at 451. And then on Buena Vista, we have similar in age, although it has a higher effective age. A little bit smaller, but let's just say it's the same square footage. Land values are about the same. 554 is the adjusted value, indicated value after adjustments. Given a median value of 451, showing us to be $7,000 high from an equity standpoint on the subject property. That's all I have.
Okay, we have 2 minutes to rebuttal, questions.
Actually, a lot of these homes that sold, we had been in, we had looked at. And I can talk to a lot of the differences and why some of these homes are valued and have been appraised for what they are. I'll take the 436 Augusta, for example. That house has, we looked at that house, we considered that home. This home has about $35,000 of Thermador appliances in it, which as an appraiser would certainly give that a much higher mark than Kenmore cheap appliances that we have and 22 years old. Screened-in porch on fairway, 3-car garage, extensively landscaped, outdoor shower, storage building. So yeah, that one justified what it was. Buena Vista is also, I had looked that one up, it has extensive built-ins, it had plantation shutters, it had gas fireplace, gas appliances, premier appliances. The interior of these homes had a lot more than what our current home has. Silverado is a brand new house, and that was also a home we had looked at that has premium appliances. It's very up to date, it's very contemporary. Nice lot, access, fairway access. Cherry Hills, a whole different animal. That house was heavily landscaped, built-ins, fountains, on fairway. I mean, it's just, that's like comparing apples and bananas on that one. Let's see what other home. Cascades, I don't know about, but it's that's an older, that's sold many years ago. And then Waterwood, 719 Waterwood, it's a totally different animal. They have an absolutely incredible lot. The market value on that is more because of the view and the condition of the home. It's in excellent condition. They take excellent care of it. Also, it's a bigger house, smaller house, no, bigger house, but it's got a second level. And again, it's not comparable to what our home is. Our home is not in that kind of condition. And we know them, and we know the neighborhood. That's the 2-story yellow house.
Oh.
So that's my rebuttal to that.
Anything else? You have a minute if you want to add?
I'm just kind of curious as to why you didn't compare us. You were comparing us on Waterwood to a home down the street when you didn't compare us to the home next to us, which is 702 Waterwood. And that house is more comparable to our home because of the outbuildings and the back porches and stuff. It's a 2944 square footage, has a 575 square foot garage, has a front porch of 182, back porch of 245. The land is a little bit bigger than ours. It also has a shed that's 500 square feet, which also includes a living loft above it. And that house is currently at market value of $444,860. And that's why I was kind of confused as to why a 2-story down the street was compared versus the house directly next door to us, which is the most comparable house on the neighborhood to us.
What was the value of it?
$444,860 or $151,11 a square foot for market.
and it was built in 99. The life of our house was built in 2000. So it's the most comparable on the street.
Your time is up. Okay, moment. 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Yeah, the question of why didn't we choose that? I don't know the answer. It could be because that it's about 400 square feet bigger. And, you know, when we're pulling comps, we have decisions to make. We're gonna either, the software is not gonna give us every comp. Right. It's gonna be within parameters. And it could have fell outside the parameters, even though it's on the same road. In some ways, we will be blind to streets. Not always. Sometimes we'll pay really close attention to the streets, but not always. Here, we wouldn't feel pressure. We wouldn't feel any internal pressure to make sure we were on the same roads. And so we wouldn't care comping the place next door to you versus comping 2 streets over and having covered wouldn't bug us too much. Maybe it should, I don't know. And we would have to, the adjustment, you know, there's a tug of war of where you're gonna pull the adjustments from. Is it gonna be class? Is it gonna be square footage? Is it gonna be age? Is it gonna be land? You know, there's a tug of war going on there. There is great potential here to saying that we've overvalued your house. Given that you paid 417 in May. And we're at 458. It's very possible that this house is overvalued. Even by our equity grid, it says it's, so we say we're overvalued, how, but not by that much. Typically, in a case like this, my favorite thing to do is run through the sell price because that's so easy to do. And I don't have to deal with all the other stuff. I'm going to talk just quickly here, and I can do this as my closing too. So it'll just be a real balance. When appraisal districts do their work, they have options. And what some appraisal districts choose to do is raise counties, raise the entire thing in percentage adjustment. So they'll study every single cell. They'll find out what they're short. And then they'll push that percent into the whole county. And then they'll fight the county. Everybody in the county, they'll just fight battles. We don't do that. I kind of wish we did. It's the easiest way to do it. We actually adjust subdivisions in neighborhoods. So we do hundreds of adjustments as opposed to one. The problem with doing the one adjustment is over and over again, you will be doing in hearings where the data is not very relevant. The data loses its power because the comps almost don't matter because you can comp anything. Because you're just simply saying, look, the county was short 25%. Yeah. We pushed 29% in because we knew we were going to lose 4%. Yeah. And the state will still be happy with us because we're going to give back 4%, but we're still going to be there. That would be awesome. But there's a harshness to it also, where you're raising areas that have no activity. There's a harshness to that. But it is easy, and it's great. It's super easy. I could imagine if you were in the Metroplex, I could imagine doing it that way. Yeah, everything just went. Yeah, I could imagine that because, you know, if you're in the business world, let's say you're working for Exxon and you need another employee to put packing tape on boxes, you hire them. Yeah, that's what you do. If you're at an HEB and you need another packer, you hire them. If you're at the appraisal district and you need another appraiser, you go find an appraiser you have on staff and you give them more work. Yeah. That's how it works. That's true. That's just how it works. So they're just doing triage. Yeah. They're saying there's no way we can handle all this data.
That was your job.
Well, that was my job. I got down to the nitty gritty and I'm just helping you. So yeah, that's.
It's her profession too. They just gave her more work.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it would work. We can just give somebody more work. We're not gonna hire some. Can you imagine? And then we need to hire. And they get overloaded. Yeah. Oh, no. We'll be all over the place. So it's
Talking every.
super stressful,
You do understand.
super stressful. just
We
to
got
hire
it.
and underpay them. You know, it's not easy. I'll stop. I should stop. We're getting-
We do understand.
Yeah.
Becky was what they call a sourcing manager. And so that was her position. They literally increased her workload into retirement,
Yeah.
forced into retirement.
Yeah.
You all have accountants. I've got 40 years as a CPA. I'm a fraud auditor by profession. And mostly auditing, but sometimes. So
If
if
you ever
you
need,
know somebody in public accounting, you know what happens to workloads. They don't hire new people. Ever.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I live in County Club also.
Okay.
Did you guys paint the house?
no, we painted it. Yeah,
We had it.
we had it.
We didn't do that ourselves.
No, I'm sure you have a greatly huge outdoor kitchen.
It's not really a kitchen, it's a bar, and it's got a little 2-burner stove, but I wouldn't call it a kitchen.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were accessible.
Yeah,
Whether.
it's really like,
It's probably, we haven't done much to this property, by the way. Your purchase price might seem high. But the truth is, it's not. It might feel high, but you could actually, it's not high. And there's evidence in that. When you look at your property card, the appraisal district did not have to tear up your effective age. We just added 5 years.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
Very, very rare. What that tells us, if you can kind of close your eyes to the world and just look at the data, and all you see is the data, and you see a sale, and there's only been 5 years of depreciation counter, that means the person did very well, actually. That's what that's telling you.
okay,
It doesn't help anything
Yeah.
here, and I'm just saying in general. That's what it's saying.
we,
We're.
Okay.
I talked, I should.
oh, okay.
I don't sell it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the sell price, but I will tell you that would be nice.
It was a good price, but the house was in bad condition.
You know,
Yeah. We did the comps on it, and we knew we were overpaying for what the house needed at that time. What we didn't know is that it needed a whole new roof. And when it collapsed, it was not covered by insurance, so that was pure out of pocket.
I'm fine. with it.
Yeah.
All right, and on count 2022, there's 6.8. Now, 31503. Appraisal market value, appraisal, median level appraisal. In both instances, the district has shown that the value based on the property is 50 was exceeded at those levels. But we're also going to take into consideration the purchase price of the property, which was $417,000. So we're going to reduce your current note to only $417,000.
Good second.
Yeah, are you?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
You folks are living here.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Are you get going there?
Yeah, we had an oops on that. I did come in and see Barbara and talk about it. No, we got our, statement. I didn't see the exemptions on it. It was like, oh. So we immediately ran over and filled out the paperwork. So it was like that.
No, who did the second?
Oh, second, I did.
Okay, you did. Sorry, I was typing.
Okay, so you understand the new value?
We got it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That you very.
And 5, 6 of these is fine if you want.
She likes the survey. It's something in it.
Something about the survey.
3 lines in there somewhere.
Scott, can you switch the computer back?
I still can.
Oh, we can do one.
I don't know who gets
Oh, we
this.
only need one.
Yeah, just one. Yeah, just one.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do it outside.
Yes. Yes. Can I take, do you have the pen?
I have.
And I'll leave this pen here.
Thank you all. You have a good day.
Have one more.
There's two at least.
8:30?
I don't know about 8:30.
At least.
We both thought that they were this.
Is it 8:30 still?
You on your break?
Yeah, we could.
We got one more for the 8:30 docket and then one for the 10.
Okay, so give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minute break.
And Kathy, did you like the envelope where she wrote the information on there? Is that good?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, that's fine.
Okay.
What color is it, Reese? It's white. Yeah, I know. The sun is out there, so I drive by there a lot of times.
The woman that has these that are the great artist, she did a lot of.
I think I heard it in
Very
the house.
Southwest, you may have been very Southwest with McDonald's, and paints, and House of Art. Art. Beautiful house. Very, very.
Southwest, yeah. Georgia O'Keeffe style.
The husband, because of big applicant calling.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I don't like the yellow.
It's really mustard.
Oh, yeah, mustard. I bet, yeah. Yeah. Well, it goes with the kind of architecture. And some builders were saying that. Yellow really fades, the sun here. Fades yellow. It was everything fades when the sun is out. Yes. Right. It is. Different shades of yellow.
Yeah,
The house.
trim is green tea, which is basically a mustard.
The inside of my house up before Harvey, I painted it yellow and it was like, whoa. Really bright. You walked in the morning, hello. But you know, it's pretty, it's just yellow.
Just too
I
much.
should have gone one wall instead of every wall.
Yeah. You should horse. So. Way in the car, sold the house.
We got another.
Yeah.
You Kind of make a phone call. Go ahead.
Anyway, she came, she called me. You're not. I'm dying in this house. It's just boring.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, different colors and
Furniture she paid. But sound like the right person. Want the colors.
when I built, I knew that it didn't go back to yellow. And I loved it, honestly, but no, I went kind of crazy. It was it's called Dove. I'm sure when so it's gray, like gray. Gray's real popular. It was really popular. Or islands. Yeah, and then so granite is what? Yeah, but mine is like black and white. So it was like imagine ever being going on. And so I picked up the colors, the furniture and the paint. And I did some.
I can't see without you there. I can't see to read. It's not, it sucks. I forget, they're on my desk and I'm just like, right now. Oh, I can't see.
You don't have to prime anything. Right over it. And,
This 8:30?
like
Yes.
cherries.
So the last one on the 8:30. He's number 178.
So I used some chalk.
Wait, last one?
Last one for the 8:30.
Oh, okay.
Then we have one for the 10.
Colors, so it all blended nicely with the gray color. Yeah, that's what my,
You want to go get them?
I don't think we got some more of those.
We are back on page one.
Need one.
The last one or the 30. This is case number 178. Part of you guys ready? That's 178.
It's on page one, the bottom page. Bottom of the first page.
Get to the dentist and Kim. Yeah. Wife's name is Cam. They always keep calling Kim. Ray will be showing up. Okay. I have some administrative stuff to go through, run through first, and we off. So we are opening hearing on case ID, mentioning hearing on case ID 2022-178, count number 22958, 138 Channel View Road, Holiday Beach.
Under programs, it's Chicago. Which state sponsored house 2 years ago.
Okay, so we need to ask you, in terms of your protesting the market value, equity value.
We are protesting how fast it's going up, each year versus where it was at when we first started. It's going over the market value, going up too fast.
Nothing actually is checked.
No, I understand. But they have the right to protest.
For something that was appraised by y'all back in 2019, 2 years ago.
Okay, so we'll treat this as a protest on market.
This is my first time with this. I've never done that.
That's quite all right. You don't expect everybody to be experts at this kind of stuff. You'll get a sense also as we go through the information that's being presented. The differences between market value and recognizing the fact that the state requires us to appraise, market value, at least. Okay. But again, we'll go through all of that. This hearing is being recorded. And we are the appraisal review board that are reviewing the project. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of the projects. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. Survey may be completed using a survey form, which is here. You can either do it. It's a voluntary survey. You can fill it out, leave it here, fill it out, mail it, fill it out, email it, or if you'd like, you can take it off online survey at survey.com/r/survey-ARB. We're expected to remember all that. It is actually on the form and it's included in the determination package you'll receive in the mail after the meeting. You also have the right to appeal our decision. And appeal information will also be provided to you in the determination package. In accordance with tax code section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. And I see a whole bunch of evidence that's been submitted. Okay, fine. The ARB members who are considering this protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Scott Wagner, can solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.6.
I have a copy of the comments. And Joanne Ferguson, solid. So I have. In violation of tax code 41.6.
I can solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax law section 41.60.
I take very solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person on violation of tax code section 41.66.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. So it will be asked to at this point in time.
Gonna read that statement out loud.
I just want to confirm that the testimony I shall present a appraisal review board for the Aransas County labor. Appraisal is true and
State your name, please. And then you're gonna do the same thing, sir.
I solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony that I shall continue to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County President District is extremely correct, then free.
I requested you someone swear from the like I said, the official for the next kind of thing.
Thank you. Okay, I need to ask both of you, do either of you hold a license or certificate from the Texas Appraisers Licensing and Certification? All right, in front of you, underneath your evidence there, this is a little chart that shows how we're going to be running the hearing. There's two ways you can start off. One is that you present first, or the other is that the district presents first. You'll have several opportunities to talk during, to present evidence and to ask questions during the hearing. You get to choose who goes first, you or the district.
No.
Okay, fine, thank you. So the district will go first.
5 minutes for your presentation.
Can we decide that I don't have to present equity?
No, we're going to do both.
And this house is in Holiday Beach on Channel View. We can show pictures with a nice idea of where it's at.
I should interrupt real quick. Yeah. You're prepared to do both, right? Okay.
Zoom out again, please. And go to mosaic. Not there. There. Okay, zoom out. And pull this way. That's Bayview, and these are the perpendicular roads to Bel Air, sorry. And so you've got Kingfish, Selfish, Channel View, Palmetto Point, and Newcomb Bend. This is on the west side of Holiday Beach. Under sales, we look at sales for this area. The cell comps are all in this canal area. They're first one's on Kingfish, and then Sailfish, and then Kingfish, and then Palmetto. That's where. So these are just cells that happen in these canal areas. First one is in June, is 21 for a slightly or a 150 square foot bigger home. It's a little bit older. But sold for 482 on Kingfish. Then there's a sale on Sailfish that sold for 359 in March of 21, a little bit larger, and it is a little bit older, but not that much. pretty close. We have a sell on Kingfisher here. For $350. And about the same size, a little bit older. The next comp is essentially the same thing, Palmetto Point sold for $301 and $350. You'll notice that our median sales value is $20,000 low, meaning that's the most that we can prove. We can't prove any number above that. We're at 353, 160. And using comps that are associated with this. Why is there a difference? Why is there a $20,000 difference? Some of that lies in that comps 3 and 4 are consideration, they're loan, those are the loan values. So we're missing data. We don't know if that's 100% loan or if there was a 20% down payment. We have no idea, or a 10% down payment or any down payment. Nobody knows. That's just the data that we have. Possibly creating a problem that's in the benefit of the homeowner, not in our benefit. So we don't mind it so much. Just shows that the value should be 353. When you comp for equity, the values shows to be a little bit low. That equity shows 378 versus 373 shows us a little bit low. And all of these comps are channel view, channel view, channel view, channel view. Let's see here, Vibes, around 1,300 square feet, 2019, 2018 built dates. These comps are all, they're really good comps equity wise. The one with the largest adjustment is, looks like it is the last comp. And potentially it had 2 lots. And potentially have more than 2 lots. So there's a $62,000 land adjustment built into that one. And it's also a little bit larger. If you were to throw that comp out, let's say, because there's 4 of them, you could throw one out and still be okay. Then that median value would have been 375. So there's only about a $3,000 difference because of that comp. It's the worst of the 3. Again, our sales approach to value says that the value is 353, not 370.
What I thought it should be. It went up too much, too fast for a brand new house that was fully done at the beginning 2 years ago and has nothing been done to it but a little paint to make sure that your wood don't re-rot. So that's, I mean, I don't feel that it's justified to go up that much.
So we've cut to the chase. If you, I'm not gonna stop you from presenting if you'd like to. If you can accept 353, 160, then
We're there.
we're good to go.
We're good to go. Okay, that's what I feel. That's the reason why I come in.
Okay. Motion on case ID 2022-378. Now 229.8. Investment market equity value. It's shown that noted value 373,610 is too high. The market value, and then it should be reduced to 353,160.
All in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, so you understand the new value? 353, 160. Okay, and I apologize again for having to have you guys wait.
No, we're good. We're good with that.
Okay. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now we're into 10 o'clock. I think there is,
Sitting out.
you got a better line of sight than we do, Jackie.
Yes, there is. They are. They're waiting.
We have lost Beth.
Oh. Yeah, the race coming in. Just one. So far.
We go next, right?
I think
They're next.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good morning.
More comfortable.
Case number 882. Okay, 56425. I will let you know when to return.
Yeah, it's on page 5,
Yes, we are now on the 10 o'clock.
top one.
We talked today, Don, we talked yesterday.
You missed the press
Did
release?
you bring we talked, did you bring the photo? Is it?
Yes.
Did you do that? Okay. All right, let them do their thing and we'll get it.
Okay, I have some administrative stuff to go through first. So we're commencing a hearing on case ID 2022-882, count number 56425. This hearing is being recorded. Verify what's under protest. It's okay, it's online now.
We wanted to mark it in.
Okay. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. You know, when I say that, it's like, no. Anyway. Just so you know, we do not work for the appraisal district. We are forming an independent review of the protest. At the end of the hearing, he ran off with all of the forms.
Oh, you did take all of them.
For the surveys.
Okay, so at the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. We normally have a stack of them here, but our last protester decided not to. So we took.
You want to fill out much?
Yeah. The survey may be completed using the survey form, which we'll get one here in a second. If you so are so inclined, it's an optional voluntary survey. If you use the form, you can fill it out here and turn it in, or fill it out, mail it, fill it out, and email it. If you email it, it would be sent to pcad.communications@cpa.texas.gov. Or if you're so inclined, you could actually take it online at surveymonkey.com/r/survey-ARB. And all of that information is on the survey form as well as in the determination package that you'll see in the mail after this hearing. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you in that determination package that you receive in the mail. In accordance with tax code section 41.45A, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. And I see we do have some evidence from you. Okay, so we have all of your evidence that you're going to be addressing, I assume? Yes, sir. Okay, great. The ARB members that are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with a person in violation of tax code 41.3.
Oh, what happened?
I, Joanne Ferguson, solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
I, Ron McCann, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Peggy Bird, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath, or you'll be asked to swear in at this point. Is that help you go through that?
Read that statement aloud, please.
I solemnly swear affirm that the testimony presented to the president review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
State your name.
Don Crow Jr.
I'm sorry, I can hear barely. I do solemnly swear to affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct. Suzanne.
Thank you. I read that to be solemnly swear. Affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Just so you know, the five of us around the table are the ARB, and Mr. Presley Ray is the representative of the district. Okay, in front of you is a little chart that has the hearing procedure times that will show how we're going to be running the hearing today. There's two ways we can run. One is if you present first, or second, if the district presents first. You have the option, or you have the choice of which you would like to have. You go first or the district?
The district go first, all right?
You bet.
And this is a property that's located on St. Francis Circle. And we can show you where that's at. There it is. That's bypass. Peninsula Oaks is that way. St. Francis Circle is there. And around the Cobb Lake. This particular property has does not have lake access. Has a lake view aspect to it, but not access. So when you look at sales, you the first sale is on Destin Lane. The reason that it's being used is to attempt to comp something that doesn't have the water aspect to it, but has something like similar land value, just to see what it would do. It comes out at 309. The one on Dustin does. Well below the 350 market value that we have on this subject. The next comp is next door to the subject.
So.
Sold for 649. It has the lake. It's on the lake. So again, that's the reason why the Dustin Lane comp is in there, is to provide something else other than just lakefront, because the other sales are both lakefront properties. One sold for 649 and one sold for 444 in 2021. One was in 2022, February of 22. Comp number 2 was. It's a larger home around the same age. It's a better home in class. Comp number 3. You look at it. It's much larger, similar in class, similar in age, rendering a value of 360. 360 being the median of the 3 comps. In equity, we proved 382 versus the 350. Let's see what these things are. These are all comps from the lake. At least I think they are. Let's see what anybody uses. They look like they're comps from the lake. Just by looking at what the value is. It's possible that, or it's probable that comps to numbers 3 and 4 are not lake properties. They're 700 square foot bigger homes. Rendering a value, median equity value of 382. I know some of what Don is going to talk about. That's why earlier I asked him about photos. From a district's point of view, when we're looking at sales and equities from an appraisal standpoint, we printed both of those numbers kind of easily, I guess you could say. At this point, I think I'm done. And we're going to arrive at a spot where I'm going to be more comfortable not making a value decision and letting you guys know, letting you guys make this decision after we talk, and that's where we arrive. I think Don actually asked me if I thought he should mess with this or not, which is a question we get asked quite often. And my standard answer to that is always yes, you should, or at least I'm not going to be the one that says don't do that. It feels a little self-serving. You say that. So.
No, I didn't feel, having never gone through this process before, I called to get information. Because I originally filed an e-file protest, and so when I got the hearing, the next day, I really wasn't sure I was going to,
We didn't get the packet or.
this guy's information that was here, so I called and they're very cordial.
You have, 2 minutes to answer any questions you want, 5 minutes for your presentation, so in order, you have 7 minutes.
Well, I think I was, it's pretty simple. The comps, around St. Francis Circle goes all the way around Club Lake. Club Lake, it's been there a long time. And, you know, I fished that lake in the late 70s and early 80s as a kid. I went to high school here. When this house came open right after the storm, it was a little out of our price range. I'm retired with wildlife law and this recently retired school teacher. And I love that lake. And so I like sitting on my back porch, looking at the wildlife associated with the lake. That was one of the main reasons we bought it, and borrowed some money to be able to buy it from my dad. But nonetheless, that picture was taken in March of this year. In January, it was wide open. That's foundation, the house that you comp is to the right. That is my property line. I mean, it is on the edge of my property line. That is my view of the lake from my back porch. Now, I don't own that property where that's been built, and I admit it. And that gentleman is free to do whatever he wants on his property. And I fully understand that. But the value of my house is greatly associated with that view right there. And when the house sold, that gentleman decided to add on a 2-car RV plus RV storage unit, and that was taken yesterday as it's being constructed. As you see, that's about almost a third of my view. I don't want to look at it. There's nothing I can do about it, and I fully admit that.
Your view is what you see.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I'm taking that from my porch, I guess. Maybe I should.
Pretty much the same angle, I think. when you-
Try to get the same picture, so for comparisons that I took back in March. And, so this is something new since January when the break came out, and something that I hope the board maybe might consider, when looking at our appraised value with, $22,000. I've done nothing to the home, none whatsoever, to the home, in the prior 12 months, make the appraised value go up. In fact, I would say the value has been the same decline because of that structure right there. And I just felt that it was appropriate to bring that to the attention of the appraisal district that some feel that the appraised value of our home is increased. We're one of the smaller homes around the lake, and like I said, I don't have lake access. I just have a lake view. But like a lot of people, you pay for a view that you don't own, and we did with that house. We have to put up with the noise from the bypass. If you go across St. Francis Circle, all that has been cleared. And you can see from between us and the bypass, those lots are for sale. 88, yes, sir, right there and right there. And they're being cleared. And of course, the noise from the bypass has gone up considerably. And the amount of traffic from the bypass has gone up considerably, as all you all know. Road noise has increased dramatically in that area in the front yard. And now my backyard view has been affected by construction from my neighbor. I'm not complaining about my neighbor. That's it. I should have bought that view when my friend owned that house. We talked about it. He said, "What would anybody possibly build there to block your view?" And I said, "Yes, sir. I agree." He said, "I'll sell it to you, but why?" And I didn't buy it. That was my mistake. So we're here. We're not going to jail or anything. You people have had a long day. I just feel that I don't think our value has increased. We're both retired. Every little bit counts to us. One of us state employee for Parks and Wildlife Department, she's a school teacher. Every little bit helps, and $23,000 is considerable to us. And I'd just like to ask the board to review that for us.
Quick question, is that building going to be enclosed or is that just a house?
I'm not exactly sure. Still under construction. That was taken yesterday. There's 2-car garage and that's part of that construction, right there to the right. And whether he closes it, I don't know. I'm probably a little off. I have the length and the width. I stepped off with the height of it. I may be off because I can make that's a lot higher than I would have expected.
So out there, are they allowed to park out RVs outside like?
And that's the thing, whether it encloses or not, the RV will be there to walk in.
I haven't seen his RVs, obviously substantially, to warrant some construction like that. I don't know, I mean, but it's heartbreaking when you're a wildlife biologist, and that is part of the reason we bought the house for. That's here or there. Well, if my wife had, I may be running out of time. Wife has anything extra to add or not?
Who owns the left of that building across where you say your view is? Who owns that property? Is that yours or is that belong to somebody else?
Maybe you can bring up the proper, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Yeah,
In the picto, it's easier to see.
In the plat, maybe. You see how mine's kind of shaped along the creek there that feeds floodway.
Well, what I'm saying is, can you go back to the second picture, which is the one complete one?
That would be 62 over
The
60.
next one, yeah, this one. Okay, this one. My question is I understand that's their property, but to the left of it, is that their property as well,
No.
or is that your property?
Actually, the 3 properties come to a point. My property, you see the palmetto, that's mine.
Pick it up.
If you don't mind, yes, my property runs to about right here. This property runs to right here, and then this neighbor, we all 3 meet about right here. Perhaps I should have got that.
You want me to do this one?
Yeah.
Help
you
me.
can kind of see there, yeah.
Let me get closer, hold on.
So if you wanted to, you could go over.
So the way my house sits, this is really my view, and this is the piece I should have purchased right here. Because that's really where my view is. This is the lake that goes in, and I leave this brush here to block. I don't want to build a fence, so I leave this brush to block me and this neighbor right here. So,
Can you just kind of indicate where that RV house is right?
it's all right here. All right here.
And actually a little further to the left,
yeah, it'll-
closer to the lake,
Yeah, it
actually.
comes to about right. Probably about right.
Yeah.
Over here.
Oh, I see. This is from the house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So from my house, which looks across this way,
That blocks
the way this sits in there like that right there, is, yeah, my argument anyway. So, I really don't know anything more complicated than that. So,
Bring have 4 minutes. If you need.
A whole lot of times, what's being talked about, mostly in from an appraisal standpoint, is a land adjustment review. The issue that the appraisal district would have, or does have, is we value on January the 1st. And so on January the 1st, that picture is taken January the 13th. So on January the 1st, the construction hasn't started yet. So our evaluation has to do with an appraisal of what something would sell for on January 1. And so we just, there's not a tool in my toolbox to deal with anything like this. other than to say that I can't know if it's not there. The property tax code January 1st is a hard day. So that's how we end up in a hearing. We end up in a hearing and let you guys make a decision. I don't have much more of an opinion than that.
Okay. You have a minute or more? Add anything more?
It was absolutely correct. The picture was a March picture when they started farming it up. In fact, I went and talked to the neighbor very politely. And I'm saying you're building something, and I heard the side of it. I became concerned at that point.
And he has a huge lot. I don't know why I had to put it right there in the lake. Look at all that property over there. It's just empty. Not my business.
We're fine. We're not arguing anything, but obviously I just had to request some information about it. And as the construction went up, it kind of got bigger and bigger. And so I started taking some pictures. And so when I got my appraisal, that construction started about March. That would be something that the appraisal district would not know about. And so I thought it would be at least worth, to bring it to your attention and see that view is a good part of that house. It's the reason we bought it. And so if I were to try to sell it, you walk out in the backyard, or you the backyard, and there is an RV storage right there. And that has to affect your appraisal value in some manner. Now, can I put a dollar figure on that? It's Joel's job, not mine. So I was just requesting to at least keep the appraisal as is. From the previous year, I think St. Francis Circle is having some difficult times because of what's selling across over there and what might go there. So I'll be back in here next year. If they put up a meth lab over there, I may have to come to be back in here. So we just don't know. But the noise has increased from the bypass. There's no doubt about that. Those are all things that a buyer would take into consideration. They were considering that house as something we'll have to continue with if we ever decide to buy. That's our homestead. That's where we live.
Oh, ARB has 5 minutes to review and discuss.
Yeah, Jackie, can we take a peek at the property card for 56426? Store.
Oh, sorry.
Go down the way in a second. Sorry?
It's way there. So true.
It's not that, well, yeah, I was just looking at the. Like the rate and the adjustments.
Can I ask a question? He's looking.
Yeah, go ahead.
If this were next year, would that property have come down or?
Yeah.
The land
So,
adjustment.
I agree, I would have adjusted the plan by 10% or something like that. Wouldn't be significant, but I think that it does matter on the whole. I agree that the view really matters there a whole lot. It's really, it really is. And that thing being there is a little bit frustrating. It's weird when you talk about stuff like that because you can't devalue, when you talk about a $71,000 land and you're going to devalue it by 10%, you're only getting it down to 64,000. So nothing is significant here in the adjustment, but I would adjust for a view adjustment there because in my opinion that land value is inherently a little bit more because of the view. So when you lose the view, it only makes sense that you tell it to calm down. You know, the view's not quite as good. So that's what, if that was the case, and this was January 1, 2023, and that thing was there, then I would have done something like that.
That was my question.
We do it already. We can do whatever we can do, you know.
I feel bad for you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'd be heartbroken, probably not.
We had a few tears.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify it. It's almost like you have something at your home that you love, that your grandma gave you. The truth is, it's really not worth anything,
Right.
but to you, it's worth some number like that. Like if I could tell you, hey, we're gonna add $30,000 to your land value, and I can make that go away, you would say, okay, yeah, it's worth that. But it's that's why it's hard to place a value on it, because the marketplace, when someone comes to buy that house, they walk into your backyard, they don't even notice it. They're like, man, that water looks good. But you notice it every single time you walk
Right.
outside. And it didn't used to be there. It's complicated. Yeah.
I'd like to get this.
Yeah, if you go to last year's price, but if you come down to me.
It's only 20, it's only 20.
Yeah.
I split the difference of 338.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come up with something like that,
Right.
338, 780. That just splits the difference between last year and this year.
Yeah, because.
And I'm sure we'll see them again next year. That's quite all right.
Maybe not. Right.
Right.
With the RV there, the 2023 will probably make more substantial.
Should we set a date now for y'all?
Kind of so.
Y'all, that was
Yeah, 338. 780. Yes.
This item 2022 is 882, number 56425. Does not be in fact trade market value. It's stable. Right, I'm starting.
Yeah, you had it right.
The trade ratio exceeding median level trade low. Although the district is strong in both cases, this property is below those values. They're taking into consideration the view of the map. We moved on them and we're going to reduce the noted value from 350, 400 to 338, 70.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
You know.
So you understand the value that we've got now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in.
For your time.
For your time. Y'all have to do this all day, or are we the last ones?
I think for today, you're probably allowed. Usually it's all.
Congratulations. We didn't take the form like the last people did.
Okay, but here's some work you want. Yeah, just in case.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good.
Like the meetings, we're gonna wait for the letter for tomorrow. Tomorrow. We have a gentleman, Ron Linke, who wants to do a phone. Yeah.
I think we go for it.
Okay.
We come tomorrow.
Yeah.
All day.
Tuesday.
All day, right?
Start.
You're gonna start at 6:30.
Well, we do. Okay. I'm gonna be out of breath running around.
Y'all gonna adjourn?
I guess we can do that. Ron, you can second that.
No seconds.
Anybody opposed?